Hey folks, Keric the Pally here. First of all, I think it's worth taking this opportunity to apologise for the lack of videos recently. Between Christmas, family stuff, a bit of illness on my part, and a general lack of games that interested me over the last couple of months, I've not really had the time or the inclination to put anything out video-wise. That plus the videos for Deus Ex and Darksiders really weren't doing quite so well in terms of numbers. I'm not a numbers whore by any means. It just kind of doesn't make sense to continue with games that nobody wants to watch, purely because it spoils the experience for me playing the games. Recording them while playing obviously takes quite a bit of time and attention, and it kind of ruins the games a little bit unless you played them before, so I think it's possibly going to be the last time that I run through a new game as a blind walkthrough. Anyhow, currently I now have a super sexy set of Sennheiser headphones. Try saying that with your teeth out. And a really nice video capture card. So I'm finally able to start working some of the PS2 games I wanted to last year, but just couldn't because of emulator issues really. A couple of them have videos and stuff and then just won't run on most of the stuff that's out there. So now I could just pop one of the original discs into the PS2, which by the way looks entirely out of place sitting on top of a big fat glowy red Cooler Master case. Right, anyhow, enough of the retro heartstrings pulling and on with the real news. As I said, I'm able to bring you some games I couldn't run before, those being Primal and Ghost Hunter. Both overlooked classics in my opinion, and both games I'm really excited about and very, very happy to finally be working on. Both deserve a lot of praise in my opinion, and I'll be giving them as much attention as I can over the next few months, depending really on how the main project for this year will take up. I've decided to kind of go for a labour of love as a main focus over the next few months. So games like Primal and Ghost Hunter, although they kind of will be secondary, I'm just not sure whether to run them in conjunction with the main focus of the channel or whether to do them possibly as a break between games. More on that later anyway. I'm still thinking about it, so I'm not entirely made up my mind. Okay, so that brings me to the most exciting news for me anyhow. Decided to take on what I consider to be one of the best franchises in video game history, and I don't make that claim lightly at all. I've played a lot of video games, enjoyed a lot, but these are slightly different. These titles come with top-notch storyline. Sometimes confusing, I'll give you that, but always, always, always epic. They also come with some of the best voice acting in the business in my opinion, and a level of emotive connection that I've rarely experienced in other games. Those obviously are personal opinions, so if your knickers are twisting right now, untwist them a bit. I am of course, referring to the Legacy of Kain series. Some of you probably won't agree with me, but hey, there you go. That series encompasses both titles in the Blood Omen series, being Legacy of Kain Blood Omen and Blood Omen 2, which is set in a separate universe. Kind of separate from the main storyline really. It does however contain elements of storyline that are worthwhile, as does the first game. I mean, the first game itself is still kind of fun to play, but the problem with it being it's not entirely fun to watch, but in terms of storyline it is worth going through, so I will be. Series of course also covering the two Soul Reaver games, telling, well, at least the first part of Raziel's story, and I don't want to say finalising because the story didn't finish. It kind of came to a point where a lot of the staff who worked on it moved on to other things. I mean, quite a few of them are now working on projects like Uncharted, which is a massively popular series. And also in 2006, late great Tony J, who played the voice of the Elder God and other little bits and pieces here and there, passed away as well. So the series kind of stopped with Defiance, but the story didn't, which is kind of unfortunate. It does feel a little bit like there's another couple of pages to go, and it looks unlikely that that's going to happen. But anyway, one of the features of the series was a set of unchanging voice talent. I'm going to say unchanging. There were a few changes initially between the first game and the later Soul Reaver games. Tony J originally, I think, played Mortanius and possibly even Mobius. Not entirely sure on that. I do have the game here somewhere actually, but I haven't checked it out. But yeah, after the first game, pretty much everything was set in stone. Simon Templeman, of course, playing Kane the whole way through the entire set. Michael Bell as Raziel the whole way through. As I've said, the late great Tony J did some work on the first game, but kind of moved on into his most well-known voice as the Elder God. And there's even an appearance or two by Rene, and you'll have to forgive my French here because I've got Northern Irish accent, Rene Auberjonois, the guy who played Constable Odo in Deep Space Nine for any Star Trek fans out there. Paul Lukather as Vorador, Anna Gunn as the ill-fated Balance Guardian Ariel, and Richard Doyle as bloody annoying Mobius. For me, this recurring cast gave the characters a real solid feel, bit of depth and substance as well, and coupled with, like I said earlier, possibly a confusing, possibly overcomplicated, yet, to be fair, vast and kind of epic far-reaching storyline, these titles definitely represent what I consider to be one of the best stories ever told in a game series. So, my task this year, in terms of a primary task of the channel, is to complete that series for you guys, and also as kind of a little bit of a treat for me, in terms of being able to have a little bit of a trip down memory lane. There are 5 games to cover, and I want to be as respectful of those games as I can, because in all fairness, they've brought me a great deal of enjoyment over the years, and this series will be a real personal labour of love. I already have a set of complete videos done for the first game, so I'll probably be continuing with them, if not tonight, then possibly tomorrow, depending on how busy I am today. And from then on in, we'll pretty much be working our way through the full 5 games. So I hope that this set of news is actually good for you, and that these are games that are going to bring you a little bit of enjoyment. All that's really left to say is thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy the build for the next few months, and Happy New Year, since I haven't been on in a while. I've been Keric the Pally. You have a good evening.